Hello and welcome to Rajya Sabha Television. You're watching The Big Picture with me, Frank Pereira. Just before starting the monsoon session of Parliament, Prime Minister Narendra Modi addressed the issue of violence in the name of protecting cows. In the all-party meet on Sunday, the Prime Minister said that state governments should take the strongest action against the anti-social elements because law and order is the prime responsibility of state governments. However, the opposition is preparing to take on the government in the Parliament over the issue. On this edition of The Big Picture, we will analyze the Prime Minister's remarks on communal unrest. Joining me on the program today are Vinod Sharma, political editor of the Hindustan Times, Ashok, senior journalist, Ranveer Sharma, former IPS officer, and Anil Choudhary, former Secretary, Internal Security, Ministry of Home Affairs. Thank you to all my guests for joining me on this edition of The Big Picture. Mr. Sharma, I'd like to begin with you with your opening remarks on what you think of the Prime Minister's remarks on the communal unrest.
This is not the first time that the Prime Minister has so advised the people who are posing as vigilantes and who are trying out to protect cows, killing people, killing human beings. Notably, his second advice, after his second advice, just the day after that, there was an unfortunate incident in Jharkhand. Prime Minister is right insofar as the book is concerned, the statute book is concerned, I mean the Constitution of India, that the law and order is a state subject.
Yes.
And it is the primary responsibility of the state government to check such incidents. The centre can at best issue an advisory to the state government to be more vigilant and to nab these people. But this is also a fact that the BJP is in power or has a stake in power in nearly 17 states across India. And the states where these unfortunate incidents have happened are mostly BJP-ruled states. Not that they haven't happened in other states, but most of these incidents are in BJP-ruled states. So the Prime Minister, I think, has to go beyond exhortations, beyond exhorting the governments to be vigilant against it. And I think he can easily do it. He is a very powerful Prime Minister. He is very well regarded within his party and also amongst the people. There is a huge traction between him and the people. And his exhortations, if they are not heard, then it tells on the authority of the Prime Minister because the flak for these incidents is mostly being taken by the government under his name in the international media. I mean, if you look at the write-ups in The Economist or in the New York Times just the other day, I mean, it is the Prime Minister whose ability or his intentions are being questioned. And that shouldn't continue. I mean, that is something which tells on the image of India as well.
Other things wrong off late as well because of some of their articles that they have written. But let's take the discussion forward, and I'd like to bring Mr. Tandon into the picture. Mr. Tandon, what more can the Prime Minister do apart? In the past he's been accused of someone who has not spoken out on some of these burning issues that have, that have plagued the nation. Now he's actually speaking about these issues in the span of 2 or 3 weeks. He's addressed this particular issue twice. The first time he sent out a message to the cow vigilante groups. Now he sent out a message to the state governments. What more can the Prime Minister do?
Well, he can convene a meeting of the National Integration Council. There are other fora which the Prime Minister as head of the central government can do. In fact, even a Chief Minister's Conference can also be convened considering the seriousness of the situation. But I would like to say that, see, there is freedom of speech in this country under fundamental rights. But there are certain restrictions which the Fundamental Rights chapter imposes upon the people, and that covers the public order and incitement of violence. Now, there are laws which check these two things, and but the enforcement of these acts and the laws which ensure public order and check incitement of violence rests with the state governments. Now, the central government can issue advisories, which I think in this case has been repeatedly given by the Home Ministry to state governments. The Prime Minister himself has come out very strictly, openly on a couple of occasions. But my fear is that why should the nation and the states in particular be waiting for a statement or a signal from the Prime Minister to act? The law provides, the Constitution empowers the state governments to anybody taking law into its own hand, whether it is with respect to public order or incitement of violence, immediate action should be taken.
Sure.
So this apparently is lacking. I would not like to get into what Vinod was saying, whether the states which are under BJP or non-BJP, but the fact remains these incidents are happening in India.
Right.
And for people outside, India is one nation. So therefore, I think it is incumbent upon the state governments to take immediate action, prompt action, and bring the culprit to the book. And that will send a very strong message. I don't know why states are lacking in this, irrespective of the fact which party is ruling.
Yeah,
so
right.
I would say that rather than waiting for the Prime Minister to come out in a very strong worded statement and then you start acting, I think it's very unfortunate. I mean, the states which are witnessing such incidents are from very different parts of the country.
Sure.
And therefore, I think the states must act.
Right. You know, Mr. Choudhary, this is not limited to one particular state. You know, it's happening all across the country. And this point has been, you know, time and again specified by Mr. Tandon. But the problem really being the state not taking action. Why aren't the states taking action?
Frank, it has been very well analyzed by Mr. Vinod Sharma, and also I'll take this argument of Mr. Ashok Tandon several steps forward. The criminal justice system enjoins upon the law enforcement agencies to maintain public peace and order. Nowhere it is mentioned that you look for orders from above, from the political masters. Why don't the police leadership in this country stand up and say, I will not distinguish between this kind of law and order problem and that kind of law and problem. So this is where I say we have unfortunately been going wrong time and again. Pratap Singh Kaur was Chief Minister of Punjab. He used to deal with a heavy hand with every kind of law and order problem. And whether it was Pandits or it was Akalis, he said, just come down heavily. Law and order has to be maintained. In the same state of Punjab, when the DIG Jalandhar range was shot in cold blood inside the Golden Temple, there was a young SP following with weapons. He wanted to go in. He was stopped. SSP said, no, hold on. I'll speak to the DGP. DGP said, hold on. I'll speak to the Chief Minister. Chief Minister said, no, I'll make a call to Delhi. And the rest, as you know, is Operation Blue Star, and we had to pay a heavy price. So my point I'm making is, why are we only looking at the Prime Minister and the political leadership to maintain law and order? Why don't the people who are given the responsibility under the law fulfill those responsibilities fearlessly?
Sure. You know, I'm going to take that point that you're making forward with our former IPS officer here in the panel, Ranveer Sharma. You know, why doesn't the police act?
Of course, police has to act as per the constitution. Whenever there is a law and order problem, they have to work. But point is, police is also under the political bosses. For example, a SSP has to seek order from the DGP, DGP from the Chief Minister or IGCID. And sometime Chief Minister also keep mum to you do as per your wish, how can you handle these situations? Well, there is no clarity of the orders. Unless there is a clarity of the order from the political bosses, come what may, you have to take action, handle this situation as per the law. That is the right way. But problem is the political bosses and the vote bank. If it is a communal, then political bosses say, wait, I'll tell you later on. Simultaneously, the other parties also may start interfering in it, and the local parties also with the SSP. And SSP find it a very, very difficult job at the present situation, how should handle it. If he go with the constitutions as per the law, then political bosses start annoying, you have done wrong things, keep on blaming, you have not done this thing or that thing. If you go with the law, then simultaneously there is some situations among the peoples also. They also after Hezbollah, he has taken the wrong decisions. That is the vote bank. Here we have to, see, either to you have to go with the constitution. This is the law and you please take actions. We will not interfere in it. If you think about the political things as well as the vote bank also, then it's a problem for bossism. Right. I may not be disturbed. SP says my kursi will be out, and Chief Minister say ki there is a khatra of the policy, my kursi also. And that is why all this hanky-panky going on this law and order problem. Had there been it, that is very right, there was no need of the Prime Minister to say such words, please handle your situation. It is in the law. Under the Constitution, state government has every right to take decision, and simultaneously SP and DC also. Sure. They have every right in their district to take decisions as per the law. Nobody can stop them. But thing is, tomorrow if I take action, but you could have asked us. Why you have not asked us? We would have given you some good advice. That is the problem.
Sure. Yes, Mr. Tandon, you wanted to say something.
I want to make 2 points. One is that everybody knows that the strongest Home Minister this country has seen was Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel.
Yes.
Now, we were told by seniors when we joined journalism that Sardar Patel would speak to a large number of chief ministers, if not all, before he used to go to sleep to ensure, and particularly in those disturbed days, that to ensure that the law and order and public order is in place. But today, if the Home Minister starts picking up the phone and talking to the Chief Minister, there will be allegation of interfering into the state affairs, because the Chief Ministers invariably of the non-ruling party, which is at the center, they start blaming the center for interfering into the internal affairs. We have seen it in West Bengal, we have seen it in Bihar, we have seen it in others. So, to have a strong center, especially from the point of view of public order, well, the Home Ministers have been strong, but now they are, maybe at that time, most of the states, rather all the states were ruled by Congress party, and Sardar Patel could pick up the phone and talk to any Chief Minister and come down with a heavy hand that I want law and order to be restored by tomorrow morning, otherwise you will not be there as Chief Minister. But today, because of federal character, states also do not want interference. And here is a state which straight away refused to seek the help of paramilitary forces from the center to ensure that the law and order is maintained. The other point which my friend was saying about why do they not take action and they look towards politicians. See, if you give free hand to police, we all know what happens.
Yes.
And there have been innumerable incidents when the police has misused the powers given to it. So therefore, there has to be a check, and that check be only through the political masters who are accountable to the people. So I think in a federal polity we have to have checks and balances. The police also has to be accountable. Number of fake encounters and all these allegations come up. So I think finally, ultimately, the responsibility lies with the state government in their own wisdom, because they are also accountable to the people. So they must, ensure that the state which they are ruling has a peaceful atmosphere. Right. And for that, all the laws are there at their disposal, and they should be seen acting rather than looking toward the Prime Minister whether he issues a statement or not, irrespective of the fact that the state is ruled by BJP. Why should BJP Chief Minister should be looking at Narendra Modi for advice or a statement like this? It is very unfortunate that such incidents have happened in India, and such incidents must come to an end, and that is the responsibility of all the states as well as the central paramilitary forces. Whenever they are needed, they should be provided.
Sure.
And I think we all hope that such incidents will come to an end.
That's a utopian dream. We also hope that something like that happens. But
it's very unfortunate.
Yes, it is definitely unfortunate. I mean, there's no doubt about it. Mr. Sharma, there's no doubt about it that what's happening is unfortunate. How do we put an end to what's happening?
Simple. The Prime Minister must tell the Chief Ministers, he can write letters to the Chief Ministers, that in future, if an incident of this nature happens in any district, the onus shall be on the SSP or the SP of that district, or the district magistrate of that district, and you would see the results.
No,
please.
Do you really need the Prime Minister to write it? Why can't the Chief Minister write it?
No, please. The problem is that reality is, and you see here, one can't be partial in favor of the Prime Minister or partial against the Chief Ministers. The reality is that the Prime Minister of this country enjoys a clout, a respect, at least in his party, which no Prime Minister has in the past has enjoyed in recent years.
But can he do what Vallabhbhai Patel did?
It is the Prime Minister's gravitas which is in question today. Please understand this. And the Prime Minister, himself would not like that gravitas to be trifled around. So instead of making appeals to the chief ministers, there can be an advisory going out from the home minister or from the prime minister. You see, Pandit Nehru used to write letters to prime ministers, like Sardar Patel used to write or be in touch with them.
To chief ministers.
And that, yes, to the chief ministers, that look, in future, put the onus on the district police chief and the district magistrate. And any such incident happens, the responsibility will be fixed on him and he'll be made accountable first. A. B. This is what is happening is a crime under CRPC. These actions cause disaffection between communities, which is a criminal offense.
Right.
And if this criminal offense is not addressed in the mightiest way, in the most impartial way, we are in for a lot of trouble in the states. And the third point which I want to make, and which is the most serious point, that point is that certain signals have gone out from certain central ministers. I will take you back to the Akhlaq incident of Dadri, where the accused was raped in the national flag. Now, what are the signals you're sending? What are the signals are you sending? And that is where I feel that there is a need. Even at that time, it was said that the law and order is a state subject. It was a state subject. But that area was represented in Parliament by a central minister,
right,
who happened to visit the spot. And thereafter, when the funeral procession of that person who died in police custody, and he was an accused, a named person in the case, he was raped in the national flag, almost like a Jawan who gets killed or martyred on the border.
Right.
So these are the signals which need to be stopped. That is where questions get raised, that whether there is a tacit approval from somewhere for these incidents to keep on happening.
Sure.
But I don't think India can afford that. I don't think even the BJP can afford it.
But Mr. Sharma, signals are going out from the Prime Minister as well now. So that's a good start.
You see, I think the Prime Minister has said in a very polite way and very much in keeping with the federal spirit of our constitution, as Mr. Tandon just now pointed out, the Prime Minister could not have overtly said more than this.
Yes,
but
precisely.
My humble submission is that a letter addressed to the chief ministers, all chief ministers, regardless of whether it's a BJP-ruled state or not,
right,
would go a long way. The chief ministers should be advised that they must place the onus on the district officials to stop these incidents.
Okay, fair enough. Yes, Mr. Choudhary, you wanted to say something.
Yes, Mr. Ashok Tandonji has very rightly said that the blame game starts in this country. Very unfortunate. If the political parties are different in the state, and say the blame game starts. Very, very correct. But I would like to express my disagreement with a lot of respect for Ashok Tandonji with what he stated about law and order should be within the political leadership's hand. No, it cannot. The CRPC, IPC has seen no role for the political. There are checks on the police. The judiciary is a check. The police has to do everything. You know, we have the bureaucracy, we have the Home Department, Home Ministry. Why should the politicians enter into an area which it is not their area? And I also want to express my disagreement, my worthy colleague from the police, that you see, they have to keep the chief minister in the picture. You know, it is the fear of transfer. The All India services have it guarantees them of action. What the maximum that he can be changed, he can be transferred. So what? He will continue to get his salary. If I am not SSP of one particular district, if I make SSP of the manual, getting the salary, that is the fear which I think is setting things going wrong. They have to be arrested.
Sure.
And of course, the constitution is clear. It does not, you know, the Prime Minister, everybody knows what he has stated. It is a state subject. Unless public order breaks down, then the center can take over the state and take over the central rule, the president's rule. But I don't see any problem. The problem lies in implementation of the laws.
Indeed. You know, the problem lies in the implementation of the laws. Ranveer Sharma, you know, as a former police officer, what do you think needs to be done to ensure that the police does their job? How can we improve the situation? What needs to be done?
Well, so far situation improve, you said, ki we see a district SP when there is any sort of line or problem. He should be independent about the decision and should have a good wishes of the political bosses also. Ki bhi, if I take action as per my law, I will be protected by the political bosses, maybe Home Minister or a Chief Minister or the DG also. The thing is, all the police officers have a great fear in their mind. If anything happens, if I take independent decisions, there must be some panga with my seniors. And senior also keep on start blaming on the juniors. That is the game going on as the practical way of the policing. Now the thing is, it starts from the Prime Minister onwards when they have distributed the power to the Home Minister. Now it is the Home Minister to take everything about the law and order. As per the Sardar Patel, Tandon has given example of all that. Fine. Now the law and order problem or the crime problem is the problem of a Home Minister. Simultaneously the problem of the Chief Minister as well as the State Home Minister also. This is a good combinations if they have a, I beg your pardon, good understanding. We can say if they have a good understanding, Home Ministers, Prime Minister as well as the State Chief Minister and Home Minister of the state.
Sure.
Now the DG and the DGCID, they are another big bosses. They have also the good understanding with the Chief Minister. Ki sir, don't worry, we'll take action as per the law. That is the authority which is in the state as well in the central government. If they have a good understanding, have a good relation each other, then definitely the SP and DC will take right decisions.
Sure.
And they simultaneously judiciary also there.
Okay.
Judiciary also, that is the understanding between judiciary as well as the police SP also. They are having, in the district level, we don't have any problem. Only problem lies in the state courtiers.
Okay.
And as well as the Government of India courtiers.
Yes, Mr. Vinod Sharma.
I think there is never a dearth of good understanding between officers in key positions and the political leadership. Actually, there is an excellent understanding in turning your face away, your back away to such incidents. It's unfortunate, but it's true. And the root of the problem is in lack of adequate reforms in the police structure. As a young covering communal riots, I have seen a particular force of a particular province, I don't want to name it, that it was totally communalized.
Right.
That in a curfew situation, the shops of a particular community will be looted. In a curfew situation, with the abatement of the police force, and they will not be looted in another area belonging to other community. So, in a country where fake encounters, false encounters have been virtually institutionalized,
Right.
how do you expect the police to be fair? And I often tell my friend Prakash Singh, who moved the Supreme Court for reforms in the police system, I often ask him, sir, in a country where fake encounters have been institutionalized, what kind of reforms are you seeking?
Sure. I'm sorry to cut you short.
So I think that the problem is way more serious than we perceive it on the surface.
Okay. Mr. Tandon, I've got one final time for one final comment on the program. I'm going to go back to a point that Mr. Sharma was making about how these facts are mispresented in the foreign media and sometimes skewed as well, and thus sends out a wrong message, really. So how do we correct that?
No, first of all, I would like to say that the failure of the intelligence agencies. See, state police, state intelligence agencies are competent to apprehend situations, but still they don't act. See, I would say that in this federal system we have now, every chief minister in most of the states also hold the home portfolio.
Right.
And why can't they become Sardar Patel in each and every state and ensure every night the law and order situation is under control? And if there is any failure of intelligence, action should be taken. Okay. Now, having said that, see, I would not blame the media, whether domestic or international, because if incidents like this happen, obviously it becomes news. And such incidents happen in other parts of the world as well, even in developed countries, and it makes big news.
Yeah, so, we are living in a country where a solemn assurance given by a chief minister to the Supreme Court of India was not kept.
Sure.
in 1992 in Ayodhya.
Right.
It's a serious issue. I mean, these are political matters and they have to be sorted out politically. You know, we can't be just sort of, you know, being goody-goody about it, you know.
Right.
People should do their job, they should do their job. I mean, if there is a political agenda, there has to be a public debate whether that agenda is merely of benefit to a political force and at the expense of India's unity and integrity. I mean, these are very serious issues.
Indeed, they are serious issues and they need to be addressed at the earliest. Let's hope that they are addressed at the earliest and we put an end to all of this that's been happening. That's all the time we have today on this edition of The Big Picture. I'd like to thank all my guests for joining me on the program and putting things into perspective for us. That's all the time we have today. See you again next time.